The secret game of power. How the rich stay. Rich while you struggle. Imagine a game where the rules are written by the players already winning. Every move you make is restricted, every opportunity capped, and every path to success carefully guarded. Yet, you're told it's fair, that if you work hard enough, you'll rise to the top. But here's the truth. The game of wealth isn't fair. It's designed. And the rich? They've mastered it so well, they don't just play it, they control it. This is the secret game of power. How the rich stay rich while you struggle, and why most people never even realize they're pawns on a board someone else designed. The illusion of hard work. For decades, society has fed the middle class the same story. Hard work equals success. Study hard, get a good job, save money, climb the ladder, and eventually you'll earn the life you deserve. It sounds logical. It feels fair. But it's a script, and it's one that rarely leads to real wealth. The truth is, the ultra-rich don't rely on hard work in the traditional sense. Their wealth doesn't come from punching a clock or climbing a corporate ladder. It comes from leverage, assets that grow without their constant effort, money that multiplies while they sleep, ownership that continues paying them long after the work is done. Meanwhile, the middle class is kept busy, chasing promotions, working overtime, sacrificing time for incremental pay raises. Hard work becomes the trap. The rich, on the other hand, don't work harder. They work smarter, setting up systems that free them from the grind entirely. Control of the rules. Here's the uncomfortable reality. The game isn't just tilted in favor of the rich. They designed the board itself. Tax laws, financial loopholes, economic policies. These weren't created with the average worker in mind. They were shaped, funded, and pushed into existence by the wealthy, who understood one thing. If you control the rules, you never lose. Consider taxes. The average person pays income tax straight out of their paycheck. The wealthy? They pay capital gains taxes, which are often much lower, and sometimes avoid taxes entirely by using trusts, offshore accounts, or borrowing against their assets instead of selling them. This isn't cheating, it's playing by rules they helped write. While you're told to cut back on lattes and save diligently, they're funneling millions through systems you'll never even be invited to use. The weapon of debt. Most people are told to fear debt. Pay off your credit cards. Don't borrow too much. Stay safe. But the rich? They've turned debt into one of their greatest weapons. Here's the difference. The average person uses debt to consume, buying cars, clothes, or vacations. The rich use debt to invest. They borrow millions at low interest rates to buy assets that generate even more money. And here's the twist. Because debt in their world is tied to investments, it often comes with tax advantages. Imagine borrowing money, buying property, collecting rent, and then writing off interest payments as expenses. For the middle class, debt is a chain. For the rich, it's a ladder. This is why the rich never fear risk the way the middle class does. Their debt isn't designed to bury them. It's designed to build them empires. The distraction of luxury. If the rich wanted to keep their systems hidden, they could. But they don't. Instead, they show you the yachts, the private jets, the designer brands, the endless luxury. Why? Because distraction is part of the game. Luxury keeps people chasing symbols instead of substance. When you're obsessing over buying a luxury car, you're not asking how the system works. You're not questioning why wealth is so concentrated. You're too busy dreaming about status symbols. Think about it. Every time a billionaire flaunts a $200 million yacht, the public stares. But behind the scenes, they're using tax loopholes, political influence, and global networks to multiply wealth quietly. The yacht is the show. The system is the secret. And the masses rarely look behind the curtain. Generational wealth, the silent advantage. One of the most powerful tools in this secret game is generational wealth. It's the invisible cheat code that keeps the rich ahead and keeps everyone else locked out. While the middle class is told to start from scratch, most wealthy families never do. They inherit money, yes, but also knowledge, networks, and influence. They have access to elite education, business mentors, political connections, and capital. Failure for them isn't an end. It's a lesson, cushioned by safety nets. Contrast that with the middle class. One failed business can mean bankruptcy, debt, or financial ruin. For the rich, failure is just practice, another step in building an empire. Generational wealth isn't just about money. It's about momentum. A head start so big that it compounds with every generation, while others are told to keep running faster just to stay in place. Wealth as power. Power as immunity. When you own enough, rules don't apply in the same way. That's the uncomfortable truth most people ignore. A worker breaks the law. They face punishment. A billionaire bends the law. They negotiate settlements, hire teams of lawyers, or lobby for new regulations. Money doesn't just buy freedom, it buys immunity. Think of corporate scandals, oil spills, fraud, environmental destruction. A regular person goes to prison for theft. A corporation causing billions in damage? They pay a fine, often less than the profit they made breaking the rules. For the wealthy, rules are barriers to be bent. For everyone else, rules are cages. And that imbalance is exactly what keeps the rich insulated. The myth of fair competition society tells us the economy is a level playing field. Compete fairly, and you'll rise. But that's a myth. The rich don't compete like everyone else. They buy access. They buy opportunities. They buy influence. A billionaire doesn't stand in line for college admissions. They make a donation and secure their child's spot. They don't compete for government contracts. They fund the campaigns of the politicians who write them. They don't start businesses with uncertainty. They build them with investors, lobbyists, and an army of advisors ensuring the odds are in their favor. This isn't competition. It's ownership of the system itself. And while the middle class keeps competing, the rich keep designing the market in ways that guarantee their win. The cost paid by everyone else. Every system has a cost, and in this game, the cost is never paid by the winners. It's paid by everyone else. When corporations cut corners to maximize profit, it's the workers who face layoffs. When billionaires dodge taxes, it's the public who deals with crumbling infrastructure. When banks collapse from reckless gambling, it's the middle class whose savings, jobs, and futures are destroyed. The fallout of the rich rewriting the rules is always passed down. They shield themselves, but the consequences hit ordinary people. In rising costs of living, shrinking opportunities, and the slow erosion of financial security. The system doesn't just favor the rich, it actively transfers the burden to everyone else. The illusion of freedom. Perhaps the cruelest illusion is that wealth equals freedom. On the surface, that's true. Money buys options, choices, and independence. But at the billionaire level, wealth becomes its own cage. Ultra-rich individuals are rarely free in the way most imagine. They're bound by empires, political influence, and global responsibility. They become symbols, enemies, and targets. Their influence forces them into the game of power, whether they want it or not. Meanwhile, the masses keep chasing the dream, believing that more money will solve everything, never realizing that the freedom they crave isn't found in luxury, but in independence from the system itself. Breaking the illusion. So how do you break free from this secret game of power? The answer isn't trying to beat the rich at their own system. You won't win that way. The rules were never written for you. The key is to stop chasing illusions. Stop equating wealth with identity. Stop measuring success by symbols the rich flaunt to distract you. Instead, focus on building ownership over your time, your skills, and your choices. Invest in assets that give you independence. Build freedom from debt. Learn how money works, not the story you've been told, but the real mechanics of wealth. Because the only way to win is to stop playing the role they've written for you. Real power isn't in joining their game. It's in realizing you never had to play by their rules in the first place. Conclusion. The truth about the game. The rich stay rich because they've built systems that ensure they do. The middle class struggles because they've been sold a story that keeps them chasing shadows. The game isn't fair. It never was. But once you see the illusion, you gain something even more valuable than money: clarity. And with clarity comes choice. The ability to stop playing someone else's game and start building your own. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden systems shaping our lives. Because the first step to breaking free is knowing the truth.